everyone. Good morning. I apologize just for the little delay in the morning, but at least you got to make some new friends and just join together in this one collective group. I just am so thankful for all of your presence here today, and I'm also thankful for my wonderful friends and partners, and not in crime, but in doing great work, Kay and Andrew. But I want to just share a little bit of what I do. I am the founder of Freedom and Fashion, as well as Avessel Group. Avessel Group is a consulting company that I created that focuses on strategic partnerships. It also focuses on event services, event planning, as well as working with individuals, management in the companies or organizations. And I created it because I knew from my experience with Freedom and Fashion, as I am also the executive director of Freedom and Fashion, that forming creative and strategic partnerships were key and very lacking in this day and age. I felt that our culture always pushes for independence and a mindset that I'm going to do this by myself. I have a passion to do something, so I want to do it on my own. But I feel like that mentality really makes us divide resources. It makes us have to recreate and do projects or do things in an inefficient way. So I want to say, and I want to show you an example of something that we did together, this strategic partnership that we've done with Andrew Park and Kay, with their organizations and companies. So first, I would like to let Andrew speak for himself about his company and what he does and why he does it.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, my name is Andrew Park, and I founded Gallant Suits, and it's a men's fashion brand that's focused on getting the men involved with the issue of human trafficking. And the reason why we're focusing on the men is after I heard about human trafficking and began to study it and ask people who are experts in this field, what's going on, what's the driving force behind human trafficking, I began to learn that there's a simple economic concept that feeds it and drives it, and it's this concept of supply and demand. And I went to business school, and so I learned that in my classes, and it was just kind of shocking that this same concept that I learned in class could be used for modern day slavery. And the call to action for me came when I was talking with Tony Anderson from Unearthed Pictures, and he just really pointed out that it's the men who feed this demand. And so for as long as that there's a demand for humans to be trafficked to different nations, whether it's for labor work or for sex slavery and sex work, it's going to continue. And so I realized, oh my goodness, what's driving this force for this demand is that men, from what I see, they're confused about masculinity. And that was really personal for me because I was confused. I think if we talk to all the men here, I think we would all get a different definition of what it means to be a man today. And I think media tells us different things. We hear different things from churches or from our parents. And I think because of this confusion, we're seeing this played out in such different ways, and in one particular way of human trafficking. And so I also noticed, as I was able to speak with Kay, thanks to Bonnie, that the nonprofits are struggling to focus on this particular area. CAST does amazing work, and yet, they're pulling all the resources to do the rescuing efforts. They're pulling in the resources to do the survivor rehabilitation, but they just can't focus on the demand side. And that's where we felt this strategic partnership would be perfect, where I could dedicate all my resources into addressing the men. And so we felt suits would be the best way to start because it is the symbol of masculinity in every culture. I'm thinking about how do we reach all men, not just one at a time. How do we reach big populations of young men who feed this demand, who can be dictators of what masculinity means? And so we felt suits would be a great way to do it. Rebrand it. Instead of it being about me and me getting women, it's about, hey, how can we help others and love people and serve others? Because that's what men are supposed to do. We are to be havens of love and support and encouragement, rather than exploitation and slavery and abuse. And so I talked to Bonnie, and this is how this whole thing developed.
And you should stand up because you're wearing one of the suits,
yes.
too. Doesn't it look nice, everybody?
Thank you.
So I've asked Andrew, too, because women wear suits, too. So he's coming out with a female line in a year.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
Yes. We're continuing to think about that. Yeah, I'd love to.
Thank you, Andrew, so much. So as you can see, Andrew had this amazing concept to, I want to implement some kind of good in my business, but I want to empower men to not just buy a suit and that's that, but I want to empower men and empower women at the same time. So he implemented that model where every suit represents what it means to be a man again, that proceeds go to CAST, who are in the front lines of ending human exploitation of human trafficking. Now, that to me was so brilliant, and that to me was so unique that you can blend these things, and it has such a very targeted goal and mission. So we saw that, and we said, hey, Andrew's company, they want to do this, but they're not connected with an organization, a very reputable organization that's out there. And we said, we know one, it's CAST. We're partners with them, we're friends with them. They should work together. Plus, I remember, Kay, you were saying that CAST was looking for more males to get involved. Was that right? Yes.
Yes.
So it just happened at the right time where Andrew came into the picture. And the CAST, of course, needed more males to be representing this issue, as well as, of course, they could always use proceeds. And but for CAST to have some kind of eventing or some kind of party or something of the sort is just too much for what they're doing. They have enough things going on that they can't focus about starting or throwing an event where we can have some kind of great soup party where proceeds will go to CAST. So that's where we came in. We were thinking, okay, we need a concept. We need a concept, and we need a shelter organization to also work with. And what do you know? It was perfect, because we love to throw events, right, and gather people together. So we had this event called the Gallant Suits launch party. It happened last year, and you can see a few pictures from it. As you can see, Andrew's very passionate as he's speaking up there. And it was an amazing turnout. And I remember at that night, Andrew donated 100% of every suit sold that night to CAST. So can we get a hand for that? That was amazing. So that was a little bit about what we did together in the strategic partnerships. Next slide, please. I just want to share now with the next panels that are coming up, as you are all anticipating it. Andrew will be in this panel called Men and Sex. What can men do? Men have asked, I'm a guy. Seems like primarily a woman's issue, but I do want to help. What do I do? Well, Andrew will be moderating that panel called Men and Sex. We have some other panels up there, and we will show you a list of panels, including Men and Sex. We have social enterprise. Just like Andrew's company is a social enterprise, it incorporates good into the business. We have social enterprise equipping your business for success. Men and Sex, what can men do? We have the professors panel that Kate talked about, where we have two of CAST members who were survivors who will also sit on the panel, as well as Danny. He is a North Korean refugee. He will also share, and some other survivor guests. Wendy, she was a survivor of human trafficking. She was featured on Dr. Phil. So you can listen from a survivor's point of view, not just what you read, not just what you watch, from their point of view and what they can do to equip us. We have the faith and importance of social impact, and the bootcamp one, where I will be speaking, in Edgar Varela. He has done all the cool and best events in Los Angeles, gathering 40,000, 50,000 people. So if you're interested in how to do event planning or keeping volunteers engaged in your own companies, please come out to the Bootcamp 1 event planning and volunteer retention panel. We also are going to be using something called Pigeonhole. What is Pigeonhole? At this website, if you go on your smartphones, when you go to these panel sessions, you can ask questions live. Sometimes you want to ask the question, there are a lot of people that just, they raise their hand and say, talk forever, and you just, oh, I couldn't ask that question. Well, we had a solution to that. So you can use your smartphones and ask questions by going onto Pigeonhole Live, and in your panel sessions, you will receive a code, an access code to go in there. From there, you can ask the question and then vote on which question you would like to see addressed. And the panelists at the end of the session during the Q&A will target that question and answer for you. So now is the beginning of the breakout session 1, where we had a few panels up on the screen. So I want to just thank you again for coming out to the first keynote. We will see you in the panels, and we'll see you for the next keynote section after that. Thank you.